What is going on, ladies and gents? We have an amazing update today. It just feels so good. It's officially a hot ADA summer. I've been talking about this all summer long, and it's nice to see this finally pan out. I'd like to thank each and every one of you who tune into these regular updates, and thank you to all my new subscribers after the recent upswing in Cardano. There's been a little bit more interest in Cardano, and people are like, oh, this guy was onto something. So welcome all of the new people who have come in, but we have some huge news today. Cardano has announced their smart contract launch date. And as a result, ADA is doing even better today, and they are up 17% as of the recording of this. ADA actually passed USDT in market cap. Take a look at this. We can see Cardano is now number 4, the 4th largest crypto by market cap as of today. We have huge news, a lot of things coming up. So we're going to cover what's going on with Cardano, what they're still working on before smart contracts are officially launched. We're going to talk about the actual launch date, and we're going to talk about why this is so important, because I want to communicate, I want to try to make it clear why this is such a big deal. And it's more than just an upswing in price for ADA holders. That is like a secondary benefit of the exciting technology that's being developed, and I don't get this excited very often. So let's talk about what happened first. So this update was just made today, and IOHK made their update on their YouTube channel. So let's just do a brief summary of that. So basically they have nodes up and running, and they're testing out smart contracts on their test network. They're moving towards that hard fork on the main net, which is just basically a huge system upgrade to their code. It's very complicated to do. So their partners are making progress towards their dApps, which are decentralized apps, which is applications on the Cardano network, and IOHK, which is the company that is putting together Cardano, that facilitates Cardano and all these updates. They're now giving these developers the Plutus application backend so they can finish up their projects. So projects are being built. They've been getting built, but now they can actually finish up their projects, or at least the beta versions of their projects. And they're running performance and scalability tests. They're basically trying to break things on the back end before it's officially released to the public. That way, there's no issues when it releases to the public, because we don't want that to happen. We don't want there to be some catastrophic issue and then, the coin goes down 40, 50% or something like that. I say take your time. Make sure this thing is perfect before it goes live. So they say they're working on getting 500 community members building dApps. So 500 developers building applications on their platform to be, decentralized and utilize smart contracts and kind of build this ecosystem. You can almost think of platforms like Cardano or Ethereum like a new internet, where there'd be websites built on this new internet, and instead they're decentralized applications built on a blockchain network. So now let's talk about the schedule. So first off, they need to integrate nodes and do a whole lot more testing next week. I mean, really their entire schedule is just testing, 1, 2. So after a bunch more testing, they do the hard fork of their testnet on September 1st. So even more testing, they hard fork the testnet to make sure, again, that nothing breaks, that everything stays together. And that's going to be the biggest test, the biggest determinant that everything lands on the scheduled date. After that hard fork, they're going to be testing in this live environment. They're going to be inviting others to come in and test on the network, try to break things, and make sure it can hold up. They're looking for stability to make sure that things are predictable and consistent. And they haven't found any catastrophic issues yet. They're saying it looks pretty good. It looks pretty darn good. And then after the testnet is hard forked, they will then submit a proposal for the main net hard fork. That hard fork is set to happen on Monday, September 12th. So about 1 month from today, we should, if everything's on schedule, I'm not going to bank on it 100% whatsoever. Things could definitely get delayed. It's already more delayed than what we would expect. So things could happen, but it should happen on Monday, September 12th. As of right now, pending any big updates from then. Feel free to subscribe to this channel if you want to be updated on the updates here. So on September 12th, we should have smart contracts on a proof of stake system on Cardano. It's very exciting. So what can we expect day one? So members of the Plutus Pioneers program, which are basically the people coding applications for the Cardano network, they may have certain beta versions or small versions of their programs running. There may be some decentralized exchanges running, some more simple applications. But really the way that I see it, and I think that you may want to think about this, is even though there's a ton of work that has led up to this, years of work that has led up to this, this is really kind of the beginning. It's kind of like, you can almost think of it like the computer was just invented, or really the internet was just invented. You know, a computer has a ton of capabilities, but it needs programs to really make a difference, and you need talented developers to start building those programs. So that platform will be there, and developers will really start to be able to get in there, utilize smart contracts, and build out these dApps into impressive things that ultimately, I believe, will change commerce and really most of the things that we interact with on a day-to-day basis. I'm just really stoked about it. So what will happen to the price of ADA between then and now? And, you know, it's basically a flip of a coin. You always have the factor of the buy the hype, sell the news. As of right now, the hype is still there. There's been no kind of sell the news. One thing that I could potentially see happen is a ramp up over time until the 12th. And when the mainnet officially hard forks, and then we see some kind of small correction. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened, but I wouldn't think that it's not going to be a detrimental correction if that were to happen. But again, it's a bit of a flip of a coin. I'd hate to guess exactly what price is going to be a month from now, or exactly when that happens, because anyone who guesses that kind of stuff, it's literally a guess. You know, they're either lying or they have some kind of insider knowledge. So now let's talk about why smart contracts are so fundamentally groundbreaking. So I have this presentation here. Let's pop over to the iPad real quick. All right. So here's a presentation on smart contracts. We're gonna skip the very beginning part. We're just gonna cover what are smart contracts, and then we're gonna get into some use cases and examples. Also, if you want to be able to download this whole presentation here, you'll want to join my Patreon. That's linked down in the description. Also with that, I do buy alerts. We have some private content there, and there's something that we're building out that is going to be very, very exciting that you'll want to get in before we raise the price. But yeah, a lot going on there. If you remember that in the last 2 months and you just simply followed my buy alerts, your portfolio would be up like 50% right now. It's been a pretty wild couple weeks, both for stocks and crypto, but do that if you feel like it. Don't feel obligated. All right, so what are smart contracts? It's a contract, except it's smart, in that it operates independently, automatically, and is completely decentralized. There's no main decision maker. There's no guy sitting behind a desk determining whether the contract should go through or not. A smart contract operates using if-then logic, making them easy to code and seamless when executing. So if something is true, then execute these terms. So if I receive $5, execute giving you a sody pop. You know, whatever the if-then might be. So smart contracts, wicked smart, remove the human element from an agreement, which is usually the largest point of failure in an agreement. You know, someone doesn't pay you, you don't deliver to the standard that you promised. That's where issues generally arise in contracts. More specifically, it's a contract with, first, the terms are agreed upon by two parties, and then the agreement is written in code and distributed on a blockchain network. It does not require a third party to manage the contract or keep anyone honest. There's no escrow, there's nothing like that. This is because the entire blockchain is an immutable ledger. Once it's on there, it's public, it's verifiable, you can't fiddle with it. 3, the code sits and waits until conditions are met. So the contract could be fed information through an oracle, something like weather data, or any other data could be inputted that way. The smart contract then executes. And then 4th, the contract executes once that data is given or once the conditions are met. Now here is a commonly used example, kind of using the logic of smart contracts in a real world device. And this is with a vending machine. This is kind of how a smart contract works. It's kind of like a metaphor for smart contracts anyways. So the vending machine is constantly looking for a specific criteria to be met. And once the machine meets that criteria, it spits out a spicy beverage. So here's the logic, the if-then logic. So if the reader detects $2 inputted into the reader, then give a Slurpee drink to a thirsty boy. If then, if the $2, you get a drink. The only issue with the vending machine is it could potentially be hacked into, which is very unlikely on the blockchain. So here's a recap of the benefits of smart contracts. So more efficiency, no middlemen, which means less friction and faster completion for less money. This is all cheaper as well. So less friction and done at lower costs than our current contracts. It's trustless and decentralized. There's no one point of failure here. And it's automated. No one needs to act. Once the conditions are met, boom, the deal is done. So here are some real world use cases. And this is really just the tip of the iceberg, the way that I see it, because there's going to be a ton of creative developers out there who figure out interesting ways to use smart contracts, but let's cover a few. So first we have buying real estate. When you buy a piece of real estate, you need to transfer the deed from one person to another. You could think of a system where this is stored on a blockchain and it could be automatically transferred without the need for an escrow company. Basically, once you, the seller, receive the funds, that deed for the house transitions automatically. No need for escrow, no need to pay the fees for escrow. Now, will this happen this year, next year, the year after that? I mean, who knows? It could take some time for this to actually be implemented, but you can see the use cases. Buying something from a marketplace. So basically when you buy anything, you're going through some kind of middleman, some kind of mediator. You buy something on eBay. eBay is the mediator between you and a seller. But do you need eBay if that deal can be facilitated one-to-one? If you, the seller, receive payment, the smart contract could then just automatically send out the product. You know, you could think of a system where you don't need an eBay or an Amazon to take 30% off the top. You could have a smart contract that takes 0.001% off the top. Insurance. This is one that I'm really excited about. So traditional insurance, you have a whole bunch of people paying in premiums, hoping that some bad event doesn't happen. But if that bad event happens, like their house burns down, they know that they'll be paid out by the insurance company. But what happens is you have all these people paying in premiums, but then insurance companies have to pay for things like their staffing, like their buildings, all sorts of things like that. You don't really need that middleman there. What you could have instead is insurance investors who will hold the contract for people who want to be insured. So you could have a group of people who pay in their premiums to a smart contract. So you could have insurance investors on the other end. If an event happens, you automatically get paid out from the insurance smart contract for whatever that event might be. Much more efficient, should dramatically decrease the cost of insurance and create a good opportunity to make money as an individual insurance investor. It's very interesting. Another example here is gambling. So this is just another one of those where you could just do away with the middleman and you could have a smart contract facilitate, you know, if the criteria are met. If you get a king and an ace, boom, you get paid automatically. There's no one that has to pay you out. Another example is healthcare. Now this one is a little bit different because right now patient data is a big issue. You could think of a situation where you actually own your data and it's on a blockchain somewhere. And you could sell that data or kind of rent it out for research studies and be paid for your own healthcare data using the blockchain and smart contracts. And then trading securities. This is one that already happens through decentralized exchanges, and this will be one of the first uses that we see on the Cardano network. So in most cases, when you want to buy or sell a security, you're going through a brokerage. You're going through a Coinbase, you're going through Charles Schwab or Webull, which is linked down below so you can grab some free stocks. But you don't exactly need that. You can have a smart contract with a liquidity pool, and that way the trade is happening between a buyer and a seller. You don't need a Coinbase in the middle getting fat and happy off of the profits. You can facilitate these trades for a fraction. You could facilitate them for 1% of what current fees are through decentralized exchanges like this, and this is something that is extremely exciting, and I'm looking forward to this on the Cardano network. So there you have it. Exciting news, exciting use cases for Cardano and smart contracts, and just being able to live through technological innovation. It's honestly amazing. So I'd like to thank you for joining me in my excitement and being able to kind of witness this. And I just hope you have a profitable day. Thanks.